Okay, folks, I'm going to try to do this in the most manageable way possible. I want to try and stay out of the way of the obviously the video, so you can see what you want to see, which is the installation and not my ugly old mug. But all that said, we've got to take this guy and we've got to basically put this guy on. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this guy up right now, and we're going to see how he looks. And there's the trigger. We take this insert out, and comes with a nice Velcro Trigger Tech symbol. Comes with a diamond Trigger Tech diamond sticker, and of course comes with the Allen wrench, and which is basically for your adjustments. Your Allen wrench, if you can see right here, let me get a little closer so you can see right underneath the trigger there. I don't know if I can get that focused for you or not, but right here, this little spot right there is where you adjust this trigger at. And apologize if it's unclear, but it's a little Allen wrench, and man, look at that trigger. That is a really nice trigger, especially with that flat face. I just love that flat face setup on these Trigger Tech triggers. So anyhow, we're gonna give it hell here and see if we can't get this done. And essentially what I've got to do is I have to take the barreled action off of here. So what we do is obviously we're going to remove the magazine, and then we're going to remove the bolt. And there's a kind of a neat thing here. I don't know, a lot of people may not know this, but there's a neat little safety feature that this bolt release has. Took me a minute to figure it out, but this bolt release right here, when you just push on it, it won't go in. You can't get it to release. It's actually got a little slot, and I saw someone else do the same thing, and then I started looking at mine, and they're built the same way. It's got a little slot moving forward, so it basically holds that bolt in place where it can't come undone. But if you take it when you want it to go, you take it and you push it forward a little bit, and we get the pressure off it, and then it comes right out. And basically it slides back and forth. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that's how it works as far as getting the bolt out. And if you're trying to get the bolt out in a hurry, don't, because it's not going to release. You got to do that one little technique there every single time. So essentially, one more time here, let me show you what we got. We've got this, which is set at 45 pounds. This has to be taken out, this bolt. We're going to take this and turn it sideways here. You can see that Arca Swiss rail, an MDT brand Arca Swiss rail, pretty nice. And then there's also an action screw right here where I'm sticking this pin head, and there's an action screw right here. And these guys are set at 65 inch-pounds. Okay, the top is set at 45 per the factory, per KRG's factory recommendation. So those are the three that you have to take out to remove this action. We're going to go ahead and get this action loosened up and taken off, and I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, so we got the action removed now. So this is the actual action here, the barreled action with the Solus. Here is the KRG Bravo stock. Now bear in mind that on the KRG Bravo, a little bit of information for you guys, but you can see this seam right here. This is a two-piece polymer section here. It is fully aluminum bedded all the way down, so everything you tie to is an aluminum bedding. But you can see that part of that bolt right there. That is the action screw, and it won't come out because that little hole right there is a little too small for that. But let me set this back here again. For reference, if you ever get confused on what would be your front screw and your back screw, just know that this one right here is very short. This one is long. Long as it goes in the back, short as it goes in the front. And as far as your top screw that goes here, that is going to be this one. Okay, that's going to be a blued or black screw, and that actually fits a different head. Excuse me, forget my finger. And that fits a different head These bottom action screws are 3/16, and this top one, let's see what this one is. This top one here, I can tell you, that way you're prepared. The top one is a 5/32. So you got 5/32 for your top action screw and 3/16 for your bottoms. Anyhow, okay, this is where we're at. Let me get things kind of cleaned up here, so we have a workable station here, so we can get this guy taken care of for you here. Stand by. Okay, had to find the right tool for this guy, but the screw for the trigger hanger is actually not an Allen or a hex or whatever you want to call it. It's actually a Torx, and I'm going to verify that once I get it out, but this seems to be the only one that fits it. But this is a Torx T, this is size T10. Let's get this trigger hanger out. Okay. I have not done this yet, so I don't know how easy it is or isn't going to be to pull this hanger out. But what I can tell you is this little screw definitely is a Torx. So we're going to put that in this little section here so it doesn't get lost. And let's see what it takes to get this guy out. I'm assuming it's probably on some type of a little hanger up front here. So let me see what it takes here. Again, remember, we're all doing this at the same time together. Oops, there we go. It just takes a little bit of force. It's in there kind of friction fit. Takes a little bit of force to pull that out. So we got it out. This is what the action looks like once it's in there. It's kind of hard to see in here, but there is a little lip here, so looks like it basically catches it, and it catches it right here. Let me see if I can get something that shows you, but there's a little lip right here, and that's what catches inside this action that holds this front in place, and the back is obviously screwed down once you put it in like that. So now what you can see is related to all of your typical triggers. There's a pin system that holds it in place, and here's your two pins that actually mount this TriggerTech trigger. Remember, I said it's a TriggerTech field trigger, which I've used before. Very nice triggers. That's pretty nice trigger to come in this firearm factory. You know what I mean? That's pretty nice trigger. I'm just going to the next level of TriggerTech. That's all. Anyhow, we just got to knock these pins out. That'll free up this hanger, free up the trigger. We install the other diamond trigger the same way. So let's see what we can do to get these out. Let me see if I have a. Let me pause it real quick so I can get my little bench block here. Okay, again, we're one-shotting this, so I'm not editing or doing anything. I'm just pausing it at times to get what I need if I don't have it. So I had to get my little bench block, and around here, you know, I use what I can. So what you're looking at right here is basically an RC car wheel that I have. I have a number of these set off to the side for mine and my son's RC cars, and I use this as a bench block because I can actually take and set it on here, and I can actually set it just like that. See if I can get that camera. Hang on, let me get that camera fixed for you. There we go. That might be better. You can see it. But anyway, I can actually set this on here, and I can knock the pins out, and it gives me a little stable surface for punching the pins out. So let's see what size we're going to need here right quick. That's a little bit small. Let me see if I'm going to work that a little bit better here. Yeah, I believe this pin will work. This is a punch pin, and this is a 3/32 size. So let's see what it takes to get this guy out of here. Hopefully it's not going to take too much. I'm going to pull it off screen here real quick just so I can see where I need to tap on it, see which way they put these in. I don't think it matters, but I just want to kind of do it like the factory did. So I'm going to lay it with the safety up and go this direction. Let's see if we can get this done here. Let's see. There we go. That pin came out. Came out relatively easy. There's that pin right there. We're going to set him right here so he doesn't get lost. We need him again. And let's see, looks like, yep, you have to have it in the safe position to be able to get to this pin. I guess unless you hit it out from the other side. But since we're doing it this way, I'm going to stay consistent. And that pin is coming out relatively easy. See if I can grab it. There it is. Set that pin right there. And then here's your hanger. And basically, the hanger just comes off. So this is a trigger hanger where you mount your trigger on. There's the trigger freed up right here. And we're off to the races. I'm going to do a quick pause right quick so I can clean these parts and get them ready to go back together. All right, we're back. Let me put this cleaner away. This is my favorite stuff right here. I'm not sponsored by anybody, mind you, but I love this stuff. You want to know why I love it? It's going to sound a little weird, but I love the smell of it. You know, we got this stuff. Whoops, we got this stuff. We got all kinds of different brands of cleaning supplies over here and everything, but that Lucas Extreme Duty CLP, I don't know what it is. It just hits my sinuses the right way. I know that's a little odd, but all right, moving on. So got everything in place. We're ready to go ahead and mount the trigger on the trigger bar or trigger hanger. So we have to remember that with this one, remember that little nose right there has to be on the top side, and the back side is slotted down or angled down. Okay, this is right side up, so this is how you want to mount it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that and put it in place here. Slide it over the trigger just like that, so it's in place just like that. And we're going to put this on safe, so that way it opens up access to that hole. And then we're going to put the pins in place. I'm going to put them in kind of at the same angle I took them out because I don't want to lay this on the safety. I'm just going to try and see if I can't push them in. That one went in pretty easily. It needs to be flushed a little bit better, but I'm gonna see if I can't get this one in first also, and then we'll go from there. Once you get that one pin in, it stiffens up quite a bit. So getting the second one in may not be quite so easy, but it goes in pretty easy. All right, now see if I can't just flush these up just a bit. Let's see what we got. Well, that's perfect. All right, we got them nice and flush. Pins are in, trigger is set and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is let me set this stuff to the side over here because I don't need those items anymore. I set this guy out of the way. You've been a good trigger. You're gonna you're gonna stick around, but you're just gonna be in the safe as a backup. But you've been a good trigger. All right. So we got this guy. Got a little bit of Loctite here. This may or may not get under someone's goat. I'm not too concerned if it does because obviously it's my firearm. But on this little screw for this trigger housing here, a trigger tree, I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite here. This is removable. It's a gel Loctite, so it is a little bit thicker. But I'm gonna put a little bit on there just because I want to. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install this right where that action lies. So if I block you for an instant, please bear with me. It is not intentional. It is just that I'm having to push this guy in there. Like I was telling you, you got to get a little bit of tension here. Well, I'm gonna slide the barrel out just a hair. A little bit of tension here to get it inside that spot. See if I can make it work. There we go. I kind of push in there pretty hard. It takes a little bit of effort to get it in there. So keep that in mind. All right, now let's get this screw going here and see how I can get this going here and how it started. There we go. One thing I won't do is create any undue tension on it, so once I start to get it there, if it didn't feel like it's threading right in, I'm going to stop where I'm at I'm going to reset because I do not want to strip this out in any way. It goes in there pretty good. It's setting up pretty good. That's not bad on the tension right there. What I'm going to do, and something I haven't done, I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to take a quick look. I'm going to see what the torque settings are. We'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back, folks. I didn't really find any information that I could related to the torque specs for this trigger hanger for tightening that down. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to improvise. This is a 6.5 Creedmoor. It is minimal on the recoil and real quick, minimal on the recoil, so I'm not extremely concerned about this thing blowing loose. Plus I put a little Loctite on this, so I think it's going to be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Wheeler fat wrench, and I'm going to set that at that tension right there, which if you can't see that, that is right at about 12 inch-pounds. We're going to see now. It's going to probably click at first because I always take the tension off when I put this away. So once I first turn the tension back on, it'll do a click, and then it'll hit to the right tension and click again. So unless it just does it automatically. Okay, that's 12 inch-pounds right there. So we're going to see how that guy holds up. I think that's going to be ample for our situation and for where we're setting at. I think that's going to work. And the next item that we're going to do is I'm going to clean up this area, because while I'm going to come back on screen, I'm going to clean this area up because really our work is done, with the exception of putting the action back into the stock and the scope. We're going to put the bolt in here. We're going to go ahead and test the trigger while it's out. It's just easier to work with it with there not being any trigger guard. So we can test the trigger where it's at, and I can make the final adjustments and get it where I like it before we put it back into the action or back into the stock. So we'll be back in a second here, partner. Okay, we're back. So what I'm going to be using is what I always use. I do have a Wheeler digital gauge on the way. I don't know that it's any better than one of these analog spring gauges, but I wanted to try something different. I've had this one for a little bit and it's been good to me, but it's time to try something new, right? But for now, that's what I have until the other one gets here, and we'll go from there once we get it. But all right, I'm gonna take this action and let's go ahead and reinstall the bolt here. All right, now take that safety off. Let me test it real quick. Okay, it is functioning. So let's go ahead and see what we're getting as far as trigger pulls go. All right, let's go. Okay, see if I can get that for you. That right there is right just about 1 3/4 pounds. So I want to go lighter than that. And I know that was only a single hit, but I'm going to go ahead and adjust it down because my goal is to be lighter than that anyway. Okay, that's 10 clicks. Took that down 10 clicks. I really don't have to rack it all the way back to cock it. It's cock on lift, but we'll do that just out of habit. All right, let's see where this is at. Gauge is at 0. Let's put it on here, and let's see what 10 clicks did for it from 1 3/4 pounds. Woo! That is down to just a shade over 1 1/4 pounds, if you can make that out. Anyway, let's give it some more, make some more adjustments to it. I was telling y'all before, I'm using the right size Allen. Yes, I am. Like I was telling y'all before, I want to get this down around that 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to get this down around that 1 pound mark, and let's see what this does for us. All right, this might get us. That was 5 more clicks. Let's see how it does for us. Ooh, man, that's light, and that is it right there. So you can see right there, we got that down right around that 1 pound mark. Man, it's so hard for me to get that on the screen. I apologize, but bear with me. I'm telling you, that's right at that 1 pound. So I'm going to do a couple more pulls here real quick just to make sure it's consistent, and then we're going to call it good. That one right there is very consistent. Man, that one is right at just under 1 pound. So we are sitting right on the mark. One more pull so I get it consistent, and then I'm gonna call it good. And that one is right at just a shade under 1 pound also. I don't know if you can see that again. I'm sorry if you can't, but you'll just have to take my word for it. So that's where I like it. That's really good, man. That is super light. Let me see how it feels just in the hand here. I'm holding it like this. Let me just see how it feels. Whoo! Holy cow. Feels nice. Feels really nice. All right. So we're done. That trigger is installed. Everything is in place. You can see that is basically how it sets up in there. And at this stage right now, I'm just going to basically put this girl back together, and be back with you to show you the final product once I get her back together, and a little final closing thoughts. And stand by. Okay, folks, we are back for closing thoughts. I apologize. This was a 20 plus minute video, but it takes a little time to do this work. I tried to pause all the parts that were the tedious little parts that nobody really needed to see, but there's a finished product, and man, there is that trigger. That Trigger Tech diamond trigger is looking really nice in there. I am ready and excited to go to the range and try it out with that Trigger Tech diamond, the Hellfire match, which I haven't fired it with that on yet, and throw my bipod on that Arca Swiss rail. I had rigged up a Picatinny rail for the other shoots, and now I've got it back to where I can run it with that Arca Swiss and with that Arca rail on my bipod. So I'm so excited. Folks, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. If you have any questions about any of this or how I did anything that wasn't on the video, please ask. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. And I'll be happy to answer questions, though, about how any of this went that you may not have seen, or any questions you may just have in general about this firearm or the KRG Bravo stock. I have some familiarity with the stock as well. I've had it in the past, and it's actually quite nice and quite easy to utilize and add accessories to. So anyhow, that's all I got, folks. I'm gonna get out of here. I think I've taken enough of your time, and as always, God bless you. God bless America. God bless Texas. This is Cannonball Cats, Hunting on a Budget, Texas, signing off. Take care, folks. Until next time. Bye-bye.